with it too while we have it. So, home Pittsburgh, hey, one man I know who refuses to lose is Mike Tomlin. So, that's a tough one, but I'm still going with us.
At the Commanders, you
see where we're going with this, right?
Home to Cowboys.
Dak is 9-4 against the Eagles the last 13
I don't think nothing wrong with that.
So to swingless, I don't know. This is you picking. This ain't me.
You already know my answer. I already know my
answer. I already know my answer.
And then home for the Giants.
Hey, that's another one. 17-0. Jalen Hurts may have the most sponsorships in NFL history by the end of the season if there's no reason.
Yeah, I have to say that because the last team I seen was 17-0. They didn't win it. So I would like to have a different outcome than that.
There you go. Okay. There you go.
Am I wrong or am I right?
Yeah,
but I saw them go 17-0.
Oh, word.
Yeah. The Cowboys didn't see that. Oh, wow. I'm loving DJ giving NBA level I think it's on football.
I've seen 3 Super Bowls, so I'm good.
NBA level smoke.
Hey, fantastic.
I didn't know that. I was able to see the Minnesota Dome win the Super Bowl. On the field.
My dad walked back to the stadium, went on the field, said, I can't find him.
John's is sent in the studio tomorrow. Okay. It's coming in studio at 1.
So we've got Sherman at 45, 12 45.
Yeah. I might put that guy. If you haven't put that guy Raider Dad on, he's on with Harry. I'll get his number. He's going to come on. He's going to call in. I'll figure out what time.
We got to squeeze in Vinny though also.
Yeah. He could do that early. What's happening, everybody? What up, what up, what up? Let's get this thing away. There you go. Let's get a little distance between us all. All right. Hope everybody's well. Roster cuts today. We'll get them first a little bit before 1 o'clock. As I told you all, I'm not a big roster cut guy. I think it's not overrated because jobs and everything are important, really important. But, I'm about the team. I'm about the team they're going to pick, not who didn't make the team. Say that all the time with MLB All-Star snubs and everything else. Oh, yeah, my guy. Always nice to have friends who are on the YouTube stream. Always appreciate that. Because some people have been with me a long time and realized there was no such thing as a stream when I started in this business. And I like our primitive stream, Bobby. It's primitive. It's not lit up. It's not McAfee. There's not 7 camera people. It's just my laptop. But there will be a change starting next Wednesday as we take this stream inside the Raiders, which I'm really excited about. Had an eye doctor appointment today, Bobby. I haven't had one since 2018. I'm very lucky. I don't wear glasses, but, readers or this or that. A lot of my friends are blind. They're literally like blind, and I haven't been one, knock wood. So my guy told me today that I can get readers, which I have if I need them, but don't need them really bad. So that was good.
You can get those things at Walgreens.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to Walgreens. I wanted to have someone legit look at them. But, man, it was, I did a full eye exam today when they puffed the water in your eye, and they got a lot of gadgets at the optometrist, man. Yeah. They got a lot of freaking gadgets. Just a lot of gadgets that are just machines you're looking at, pictures of eyes, all of that.
The Land Rover Defender story began with a simple thought: to create an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle. Hi, this is Ray Denardi.
All right. Went for a swim today. Went for a long walk today. Yeah, life's good, man. It's August. I'm going to San Diego on Thursday. My sons are at the house. Going to have a good weekend in San Diego. I'm going to go there I'm going to go see Steve Miller, Journey, and Def Leppard. Yes, again, Steve Miller, Journey, and Def Leppard Friday night. You won't believe what the tickets cost. You won't believe it.
I'm trying to think. I think Journey might have canceled on that.
No, they canceled Europe. Not yet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so now you look at all the concerts I've seen, over 1,000 concerts. I've never seen Steve Miller, and I know he's getting up there in age, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go to the Pacific Classic, which I'm not a big thoroughbred horse racing guy, but my buddy has a box, and he's running one of his horses in the California Classic, which Pacific Classic, whatever that is. That'll be cool. And then another buddy of mine owns a yacht. Yes, I'm name dropping. Not one of those Mark Zuckerberg yachts, but a big one. And we're going to go on the boat and have Modelo's and Tito's, two of my proud partners. And then we're going to come back, and then it's 6 days a week, man, around the clock. 6 days a week. Man, someday I will not be working 6 days a week, but I love working 6 days a week. I do, actually.
I'll start working 7. They got me on UNLV football next Saturday.
UNLV football is going to have a good year. Oh, and then I'm going to USC LSU Sunday when I come back, Allegiant Stadium. Let's not forget that one. All right, give me a roster cut guy. Give me a guy that you want to see make the team, might make the team, blah, blah, blah. Let's get on top of that. Maybe some of the insiders will start leaking. They're going to leak. I've never been a leaker, you know. I don't think there's any upside in me leaking rosters, who just died, who's going to get a job or not. That's not my deal. Yep.
Las Vegas.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's time for JT the Brick.
Raiders defense is no joke. The offensive line is good. The Raider defensive line is better. We all agree on that, right? Mad Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. Those guys are train wreckers.
There's definitely a little tinkering going on. We'll see, what sticks, and we'll put, the best version of our defense out there, at the beginning of the season, and hopefully it keeps improving.
But our freaking D-line is nasty. The D-line of the Raiders is nasty the way it used to be.
JT the Brick.
But this guy, Antonio Pierce, is going into L.A. like Russell Crowe in Gladiator going into Rome. Okay, this guy, Antonio Pierce, is going to be like the movie Gladiator, leading everyone into Los Angeles. And he ain't joking.
And now,
Don't worry about our quarterback, buddy. Worry about him.
here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT with you live on the flagship of the Silver and Black, Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m. in Vegas on the Raiders mobile app. God, I love that mobile app. LV Sports Network and streaming on YouTube, where 61 people are already in, watching way before you came on the radio. So please subscribe and share JT the Brick YT. That's on YouTube. As we get rolling today, we'll thank all of our partners. This is our last week of summertime radio. Summertime radio in sports could be tough, man. We had the Olympics this year. That was good. But we got through June, July, and Bobby, we're almost done with August. On August 27th, well, we don't do any heavy lifting in this world. We're not cops. We're not firemen. We're not emergency workers. We don't work outside and build Tropicana. We don't pour concrete like the 872 laborers. We just talk sports. It's not very difficult. It's actually very easy if you don't say and It's a very easy job. A lot of people can't do it because all they say is like, It's a very easy job if you can get it. But it's a grind in the summertime because sports kind of takes a hiatus at times before football season. And we're there. We're in the college football world now, which is a lot of fun. And we got an opportunity to get ready for the NFL. We're a week from tomorrow, or today is what, Bobby? Today is Tuesday, a week from Thursday. We have the Ravens at Kansas City. Pretty big game for the Raider Nation because we play Baltimore in week 2. They're going to have 9 days off. And we play Kansas City twice. Not many teams in the NFL have to play the Chiefs twice and the Ravens, right? Right, we got to play Cincinnati too, last I looked. Not many teams in the league got to play Kansas City twice, Cincinnati, Baltimore. Who am I forgetting, man? Roger, who am I forgetting that you put on the schedule this year? made it a little bit difficult. Threw in a little Miami, another playoff team on the road. Oh, Raiders, we got some uphill sledding with the schedule, man. That's why the Charger game's really, really important. Bumped into my buddy Doug in the hallway. He's going to the game. And he says, JT, I heard you call it your Super Bowl. I said, yeah, I'm a gimmick guy when I have to be. It's my Super Bowl. It's a big game. Want to beat Harbaugh in the first ever game. Want to beat him. Want to go into LA in front of the Raider Nation and the fans and win. So let's do it. Okay, let's not hope. This is not hope and praise, hope and pray. Okay, this is go do it. Just go win the game. The way Marcus Allen and Mike Haynes and Art Shell and the Snake, they had tough games on their schedule. Talked to Fred Biletnikoff again today. He's like a second dad to me. And Freddie went through his road schedule early. They break camp after 6 weeks, playing in 6 preseason games, longer than that, 2 months of camp. And then they would, back in the olden days, in his time, they'd fly east and they play 3 games east. They play New England, Buffalo, and the Jets. They weren't home with their wives and kids. All at training camp, they're gone. All the preseason, they're gone, unless they had home games. And then they put them on the road for a number of weeks back then, when travel was a little bit different than today. So it's a world that has changed, but the same thing has to happen. You have to win. As Herman Edwards said, you play to win the game. It's time to go out in the Raiders to win games, not feel sorry for yourself. Antonio Pierce doesn't. He's ready to roll, and we'll dive into all that. So the cuts are going to come here within the hour. I think we'll get them first. When we get them, I'll let you know who made the team, or if it's a non-event, if it's pretty much what we think, maybe we'll go through it. I'm not a big snub guy on who didn't make the team. That's not my brand. I don't sit there. I worry about the team, the guys who make the team, the guys who don't make the team. Hopefully they're on the practice squad. Hopefully they're clear waivers, or maybe they go to a better scenario. Maybe they go to a better scenario and they go to a team where they can play. I've been telling you for weeks now, I think that Tom Telesco will leave a spot open, and Tom Telesco's supposed to speak at 2 o'clock today live. So stick around for that. I believe that Tom Telesco will leave a slot open to go get another player. I think it'll be another cornerback. It could be a right tackle, but probably a corner to depth at that position there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens as the cuts are coming out here. Kadarius Toney cut by the Chiefs. I'm looking at some of the moves here today. There's been a lot of cuts already. Kadarius Toney gone from the Chiefs here. More and more players are getting waived today. And when we go through the entire list later tonight and tomorrow, we'll just keep an eye on it. I keep an eye on Tashawn Reed, Vic Taper, Paul Gutierrez, our teammate Vinny Bonsignor, Jeremy Fowler. An hour ago, the Raiders are releasing quarterback Carter Bradley. They also let go of Nathan Peterman. Fine by me. Team needs 2 quarterbacks, not 3. I let A.J. Cole play quarterback. I don't care. We got 2 quarterbacks. We need a roster spot. We, the season ticket holders, need a roster spot for another player, not a third quarterback who's probably not going to get on the field. Tom Pelissero, 4 hours ago, the Raiders released veteran quarterback Nathan Peterman. So he was a camp quarterback, not the end of the world there. So as we go through the list of the players who will be here or not, we'll see. It's not going to be the end of the world. It won't be the end of the world, but there is a receiver or a running back on the back end of this team. They're going to make the team, and hopefully that'll be a good sign. That'll be a really good sign when someone makes the team who a month ago we weren't sure about and played well in the preseason, were able to get the job. And then after that, what we're going to do is, Wednesday, tomorrow I have the state of the team, my biggest event of the year. Sandra Douglas Morgan, Tom Telesco, Antonio Pierce. I'm emceeing that at the practice facility headquarters. That's a big deal tomorrow. I'll come back, tell a couple stories on that. We'll do Thursday. Going to hit the road a little bit on Friday, get out of here Friday. Doug's going to sit in for me for an hour. We're going to have a best of the summer, come in, and then we're back. And then Sunday, balls out. That's it. Sunday we go. I start going on Mad Dog, doing the double dip Sunday, Monday, 5 days a week here. And we set up our grid with some of the best insiders that we're going to have. I like Tyreek McAllister. I called this punt return touchdown. You remember that? He has an opportunity to make the team. That's one of the players that I'm keeping an eye on. When you look at the 5-6 wide receiver, and then you look at the 4th running back, what about Dylan Lobby? I didn't think he did much. Don't think he did much. I don't know. He did a lot in camp, but he didn't do much in the preseason. It'll be interesting to see. And let me remind you, season ticket holders can watch the state of the team. A link's going to be sent out to them tomorrow, so you can catch what we're going to do if you're a season ticket holder and have those privileges. You'll be able to check that out. as we get rolling. So with the roster being set in an hour, pretty much set in an hour, the Raiders are going to go into this season with, I think, a pretty good team. A pretty good team. It's a better team than the national media thinks it is. But, God, I've beaten that into the ground. I don't think anybody wants to hear me, from my wife to you, anybody, for me to say that again. We're better than people think we are. I said that all summer. We don't have a lot of depth. We don't have a lot of depth at all. We don't. We don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver. At one point, I thought we did. We don't have a lot of depth on the offensive line. I think we brought in, when you look at Andres Pete and you go look at Whitehair, there are a couple of guys there that give you depth and were former Pro Bowlers. I know we don't have a lot of depth at the cornerback position. We have some depth at safety. We have great depth. I think the strongest depth position of the Raiders is tight end, right? The tight end room is really strong. But other than that, the starters have to stay healthy, and they have to play better football than they ever played. That's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by Golden Entertainment, a proud partner of our show for well over a decade, if not more. And they have new openings coming up here and fantasy football drafts that we're all talking about. It's going to be fantastic. So when you go to a PT's, get ready. It's the fantasy football location throughout August. Book your ultimate draft party at PT's Tavern. Score big with 10% off your tab, a free draft kit, and free Wi-Fi. Just go do it there. Have some Modelo's, kick back, and have a lot of fun. PT's, they fuel the monologue. So as I want to get into this roster before it's officially announced, we need to develop some players, and they need to get better quick, or they're not going to be here. Okay? They're not going to be here. Okay? If you're coming up on your fourth year, you're ready for a new contract, you're not going to be here unless you save the season. Because this season's dicey, man. I got guys in Vegas saying 6 wins, no way. I got national media knuckleheads saying 4 wins. We got people all over the ice here. If you want this team to make the playoffs and have a good Christmas, a good Thanksgiving, like I do, we need some guys to step up. Okay, you're not entitled to be a Raider for 9, 10, 11, 12 years. You saw all those alumni come back. Some of the guys played together their whole career. Why? Different time. No free agency or the beginning of free agency. Not a lot of trades, not a lot of that. No, those days are over. Guys are getting overpaid. They're breaking contracts. They're holding out. They're getting enough money, generational wealth. We need guys on this team to play at a higher level. I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you 3 right now that got to play at a higher level this year, and they better do it because their positions are going to be critical in them being here in the future. Number 1, Divine Diablo. Divine Diablo is a stud athlete. He looks like, I was on the sidelines at the live open practices. I'm telling you, the guy looks like he's an Olympic track star. And he's big. He just looks like a football player. Some guys look like a football player, others don't. Divine Diablo is a specimen. I don't see it all the time. I want to see a linebacker who can go sideline to sideline. I'm not talking Lawrence Taylor or Ray Lewis, but I'm talking about a guy who's going to be quicker, faster, explosive. Where are the Divine Diablo plays behind the line of scrimmage where you just look and go, oh, my God. Remember Jack Jones last year, Bobby? The one-handed interception, all that? He flashed. We saw that from Jack Jones. We need to see that from Divine Diablo. You know who I saw it from last year? I saw it from Robert Spillane. He had a lot of big plays, interceptions. He did it for me. I haven't seen it from Divine Diablo. Diablo's got to step up and play for a future contract because there's a lot of Divine Diablos in this league.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there's plenty of Divine Diablos in the league. He's a good player. He's a specimen of an athlete, but he's got to be better. I got to see some more flash from him. So he's going to make the team, and we're trying to make the playoffs, so I need him to have a borderline all-pro year. Okay, he's got to flash to the point where they're saying, oh, my God, you see Divine Diablo this year in 2024? That's number 1. Number 2 is right next to him, Nate Hobbs. Nate's a great guy, really likable. I introduced him to Willie Brown's daughter. First got to do that at the Super Bowl. I like him. He went to Illinois, where my wife got her master's degree after her undergrad degree. God, my wife's so much smarter than me. Nate Hobbs, I keep hearing about how great he is behind the line of scrimmage, this, that. I got to see it this year. Nate's playing for a contract. Nate's got to play at an extremely high level, okay? He's got to play at an extremely high level in order for this team to make the playoffs, which means as a slot corner, kind of a nickel slot guy. I think he could play on the outside. How many years have I told you on this broadcast we're looking for another cornerback? We got Jack Jones and who? We got Jacorian Bennett. Why do we need Jacorian Bennett? We got Nate Hobbs. Why can't Nate Hobbs play out on the corner? Why? I don't understand. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. So they make him a specialty corner. They put him in the slot. Okay, be the best one in the league in the slot. That's all I ask. Be the best one. So those are two guys that are right there that I think are really important players on this team that got to have a big year. Okay, and then finally, I saved the best for last because it's a make or break year for his entire life, his entire career, because he's pretty good and he hasn't been great. Gardner Minshew. Here we go, Gardner. I'm looking right at you. You play guitar. You got the twang. You got everything. Love the guy. Only met him a few times. Gardner Minshew has to play at an elite level in his skill set this year. I don't want to hear about Gardner being ranked somewhere in the 20s to 25s, 21 to 23. No. No, we're not going to do that. We need Gardner Minshew to play at an elite level this year. That means get the ball out quickly. That means sprint right. Get the ball out quickly. Get the ball to Bowers. You're in trouble. You don't know what to do. Don't worry about it. Just get the ball to Bowers. Let him have it. Hand it off to him. I don't care what you do. Don't turn it over. Run when you have to. Break the pocket. I even like a design player too, the naked boot, right? Do that at the goal line, whatever Gardner needs to do. So I give you Divine Diablo, I give you Nate Hobbs, and I give you Gardner Minshew. Those are three players that have to deliver this year. I don't fall into the category, well, if Gardner's not good, Aiden will come in and play. If Gardner's okay, maybe we can split some reps later with Aiden. Get out of here. Gardner Minshew was named the starting quarterback of the famed Raider organization. He needs to step up and embrace that. All due respect to the Eagles, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, they're not the Raiders. Pride and poise, commitment to excellence, played in the greatest games, all the Hall of Famers. Gardner Minshew has to have a Gannon-type year. You don't remember, but I do. I was there before Gannon came to the Raiders. He came in and no one paid attention. I was doing sports radio back there. I didn't get one phone call. Not one. No one called me. You think I had 9 lines deep? Guys going, oh my God, we're going to the Super Bowl with Rich Gannon. We ended up going to the Super Bowl with Rich Gannon a few short years later. Gardner Minshew has better numbers than Rich Gannon at the same amount of years in the league when he came to the Raiders. Play like Rich Gannon. Now, I don't think he can. I hope he can, but Rich was a special player. And the thing that Rich did, which was pretty impressive, and I don't think that Rich had to do it because the Raiders locker room at that time was splintered in a weird way. You know, Gruden had it really locked in. Callahan took him to the Super Bowl. But when that happened, John Gruden gave Rich Gannon the opportunity for Gannon to be himself and take control of the team, which meant that Gannon had to go to Gruden and say, look, we can't win with these guys. We got too many guys here that aren't committed. Let me get up in front of them and let me talk. And he did. I don't think Gardner Minshew has to do that here. I think this team is pretty locked in. I think they all get along good. They spend a lot of time together. They're all fired up, and there's no problems. There's no gossip. There's no, like last year they fired Josh McDaniels. Dave Ziegler got let go. There was a lot of gossip going around, but I didn't think a lot of gossip was going around until the Chicago-Detroit game. You know, overall, it was pretty good at times. Everybody said this. Players still there today. They weren't blaming Josh McDaniels for a culture being bad. They just were playing on eggshells because they were getting criticized a lot by the coach when they made mistakes. It's a different coach now, different coaching staff. So those are the guys that the roster is going to come out today. And instead of, putting the roster under a microscope, which I don't think is great radio, I think we got to find the players that have to play better than their ability. That's what I want to hear from you today. On who are the 1 or 2 players that you believe are on the roster who are pretty good, right? Pretty good. That you think if they play better, I gave you 3 great examples, Divine Diablo, Nate Hobbs, and Gardner Minshew. Maybe I missed one. Who are the guys that you think have to do that? Don't tell me Jackson Prowse Johnson. He hasn't played a game yet. You can say Colton Miller. Colton Miller's never been in a Pro Bowl. What's going on there? Colton Miller's a great player, but that's the toughest position in football to make the Pro Bowl. I mean, the top 2 left tackles in football every year are Hall of Famers. And Colton Miller is not a Hall of Famer. Not yet. So this would be nice for Colton. I'll throw him in there. But you know where I'm going here. The roster's got to be playing to better than their ability. They have to have a better year this year. We have to have some guys who flash and peak and play well. And then that's it. If those guys play well and nobody gets hurt, and I mean nobody, because there's not a lot of depth. If these guys play a lot, then I think the Raiders could be better than most people think. Next thing you know, if we get 2 or 3 starters that are hurt with the depth that the Raiders have and a couple of positions, it could be dicey. But we all know what's happening. You know the dirty secret. You know what everybody's saying. The defense has got to win the season. If the defense continues to get up the field, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, strip sack, interception, tip ball on 3rd down, the Raiders will be fine. Raiders defensive run defense in the preseason didn't look very good. I'll tell you that. If they give up that many yards on the ground coming right at them, that's going to be a problem. So I am optimistic. I'm going to be optimistic as long as I can. That's what I am. That's what I do. And then we'll see where we go from there. But I'm excited about this roster, what's going to happen here. And I want to hear from you. Who are the players after the roster's announced, which is going to be in 45 minutes? Give me a player or two that you really believe can step up and change the whole organization by having a big year. Now, someone just texted at me, how did you forget Tyree Wilson? I don't even put Tyree Wilson in this category.
Right.
Tyree Wilson doesn't play.
Yeah.
Okay, when he gets on the field and he's playing to the best of his ability, we'll talk about him. Tyree Wilson has got to look in the mirror and say, I'm going to be great now because I'm not going to be here if I'm not great pretty quick. We all know that. He's a good kid. We all want him to be a really good player in this league. It's not often you have the 7th player overall in the first round of a draft, and he's healthy, he's a beast. You want him to do well. You don't want to start having people calling to your radio show saying he sucks, he's not living up to the hype. That's the last thing you want to do with him. You want to build him up. You want him to turn into a really good player, and he has the opportunity to do that. Like a really great caller, Chris in West Oakland begins the show. What's up, Chris?
Hi, JT. I'm going to be fairly quick today. I'll get you my predictions and everything on the season next week. You hit the obvious one, number one. Gardner Minshew. I believe in the AFC, especially the AFC West with the quarterbacks. He has to give us more than just don't screw the game up. The division's too good. The conference is too loaded with quarterbacks. So he's got his chance. Somebody's turning the team over to him. You want to compare him to Gannon, although I always said Gannon was very good in Kansas City, and Schottenheimer was too stupid to not play him over Elvis Gerbach. So obviously, we talk about unknown players. We know the star's got to step up, JT, because it's nice if some of these guys do, but he has to play above his head better than he's ever played in his career. He's been okay, but in order for this team to take a step and really be a 10-win team, a playoff team, I believe we have to be, at the end of the year, we've got to be talking about Gardner Minshew played in a Pro Bowl weather. Devontae Max, all the studs, we know they have to be there. I'm going to say the players that I think the Raiders really need. I'm going to hit you 2 of them, JT. Number 1, Divine Diablo. Long been an issue on this show with the Raiders. We talk about the lack of linebacker strength. We can't ever seem to get a stud linebacker. The Raiders haven't drafted a linebacker that's been all pro since Phil Villapiano 53 years ago. And I know Khalil Mack made it, but we all know Khalil Mack had his hand in the ground and was really a defensive end. So he really needs to step up. Trayvon Merritt, again, everybody talks about how great this guy's been the last couple of years. Well, you know what? He's still not a ball hawk. You look at the Chiefs, you look at the Ravens, you look at the Niners. Teams that are elite defenses, they have safeties to turn the ball over 7, 8, 9 times a year. They've got to get some interceptions out of the back end of the secondary. And finally, one other thing, JT, I think the most overused word in sports these days is develop talent. We don't need to develop talent. We need a better eye for talent. I'm going to use an example. Somebody like Dre Greenlaw. Did the 49ers find a guy like this in the 5th round? That guy's a beast that runs a 4.5 40, 250 pounds, goes sideline to sideline. You didn't develop those kind of skills. You can make him better, but we've got to find hidden gems like that, like the safety we got from Air Force, or maybe Polamalu. We need a guy to hit where it comes out of left field in the 5th or 6th round and say, damn, what an eye for talent. We found him. You don't develop that kind of talent. You have that kind of talent. This is Telesco's first draft, so let's see if he found a couple of hidden gems. Because if this team is going to exceed expectation, not only do they have to stay healthy and the stars play better than ever, we've got to find, I don't think 2 or 3, 4 or 5 guys come out of nowhere. Because we're in the AFC West with Patrick Mahomes, and if you even want to think about competing, you better think you're going to win 11 or 12 games. And to do that, We've got to find a whole lot of hidden gems in this draft. I hope they're there, my friend. I'll call you next week. Have a great rest of the week, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the call, and you're right about this. The developing of the roster is important with young draft picks, but the key is getting the players, the athletes, the special athletes that I mentioned, Divine Diablo, Nate Hobbs, Tyreek Wilson, to get those guys who are freak athletes and very good and were drafted reasonably where they deserve to be drafted, to develop them into Pro Bowl talents. Okay, not every corner is going to be Mike Haynes. Not every tackle is going to be Art Shell. We know that. But you got to get more. You got to get more out of some of the guys that are there. You have to. And I think that will be evident this year with the Raiders. The Raiders roster is okay. It's not a bad roster. When people on these talk shows say the Raiders don't have the players, they're wrong. Now, they say the Raiders don't have a quarterback. They say they don't have a quarterback. They got two good quarterbacks. Aiden O'Connell's in his second year. He played a lot of football last year and was pretty good. He's not great, but he's not bad. He's a good quarterback. And Gardner Minshew has proven everybody wrong in this league. He's not elite. So that makes the conversation much more dumbed down and simple for people who don't know the Raiders and are living in Missouri, or they're living in Connecticut and they're watching NFL Live, or they're watching some garbage 50-time makeover FS1 show that has their 59th lineup in 5 years, and they're saying to themselves, well, they said the Raiders aren't very good. Well, what they actually say? Well, they said the Raiders don't have a quarterback. That's all they say. So the Raiders got to develop and have a great quarterback in the system coming in sooner than later. And they tried. I mean, the Raiders were interested in a quarterback this year. It didn't work out. They were picking 13. The guy they wanted was Jaden Daniels. He went number 2. Would have been 3 first-round picks. You really think Telesco was going to start his tenureship with Mark Davis saying, I'm trading away the next 3 drafts for a player and then some? We got Brock Bowers. Got to get him healthy and ready to go. I hope he is. We'll know more about that next week. But I'm excited. You should be too. Open line, get in here on the Raider player that you want to see make the roster, the Raider player that you think should make the roster and have an impact. But I don't do a lot of like the 6 wide receiver made the team. I don't want to do that. Like he made the team. He's not going to take any of Devontae's touches. So why am I going to waste time with the 5th and 6th? Hey, the mom and dad are happy. Everybody's happy that, say Tyreek McAllister makes the team. I'm excited. He better not get a ball that should have went to Trey Tucker or Devontae. And he probably won't. So I like to talk about the stars on the roster and how to maybe get a little bit more out of the stars. Tito's Handmade Vodka. I just can't believe I'm saying that. We have Tito's as a partner, my go-to vodka. Ask for it everywhere because it's everywhere. In the vast region of Southern Nevada and all over this country, people ask for Tito's as their first choice. It's an American success story. Busy show today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Roster cut down within the next half hour. Good start. 208 people in the chat. Love it, man.
I'm curious what
208
your thoughts are of competing against number 98 over there, Max Crosby.
208.
Equivalent?
Yeah, Woodson Whiskey is my go-to whiskey. My go-to vodka. You listening?
He's gonna have an amazing year. He's definitely one of those guys that at practice he's annoying.
Play it out of the break, Bobby.
You
can play it out of the break.
Happy that he's with us.
The Morning Tailgate, weekdays
You can play
at
it out of
7
the gate.
a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
All right.
PT's Taverns is gearing up for football season this August. Book your fantasy football draft party and enjoy 10% off all food and drink purchases, plus free Wi-Fi, draft kit, and more. PT's is your home for Vegas's best happy hour with 50% off drinks and $6 personal pizzas, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. daily. With over 70 taverns, there is always a location near you. To find yours and book your fantasy draft party, visit ptstaverns.com today.
Understanding the many things in a mother's life affecting her pregnancy is important. You can help improve the health of all mothers and babies in Nevada by completing a pregnancy.
Yeah, the
risk
beer menu
assessment
guy, I got a little
monitoring system
kickback on that. I don't like the fantasy football guy that begs the host for, who do I put? It's very insecure. It's very wimpy. If I could use that word, very wimpy when a guy calls into a sports talk show and says, I got my flex league and I have this guy. Who should begging for an answer from a radio host. I really find that repulsive. But other people don't. Other people people think it's great. I mean, we don't have to agree with the type of radio that we like. I do single, long-haul trucker, by myself radio. No one can do it. No one does it anymore. I'm in a vast world of guys who have 2 fantasy guests on this week and 3 co-hosts. I don't want people calling me, asking me, Bobby, for their 3rd pick in their fantasy draft.
Dude, you got to call somebody else.
Well, yeah, some guys don't get out much, man. And in regards to, I'm not a menu guy. So if I'm going into a micro brew pub and I look up and I see there's 200 beers, 200. I don't know. I don't like lemon beer. I don't like wheat. I don't like a lot of that. So I'll ask for a Pilsner or a blonde type beer, but I don't need a menu. I'm not going to look at your beer menu. That's not my thing.
I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded.
Yes, Big D, Chris in West Oakland is always good.
Now he's another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband.
We should have more people calling in. You don't have to be Chris, but we'll get more.
Improved. My friend went and she lost 20 pounds.
I'm waiting on the roster that they claimed, and they said they're going to send me, which I should get that pretty quick.
Life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Wow, that's amazing. So what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed with the Early Bird Special, only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Sunday, September 8th at the Santa Fe Station Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar at 2 p.m. Registration at 1:30 p.m.
They still have non-stop smoking
Sign up
seminars,
at markpatrickseminars.com.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circus Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rate. Circus Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against us Brady.
Waiting for some picks. If you got any leaks, if you're following Chef or Rappaport, you see anything, put it in the, do me a favor and put it in the chat so I can get out in front of it.
I'm Justin Watkins with Battleborn Injury Lawyers, and I have to laugh when I hear all the attorneys out there falling all over themselves to tell you who's bigger, who's better, or who's richer. It's funny because the American Bar Association found the most common complaints of lawyers is neglect and lack of communication. It's about customer service. At Battleborn, we pride ourselves on how we treat our clients, and our clients seem to really appreciate it. Check out our Google reviews or call
the ESPN female hosts who are all very good, very attractive, very professional. They're just
welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PTs. The best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
He has an opportunity for a return here. The Raiders need to show on special teams, kickoff return, and special teams here. He led the CFL in kickoff return average last season. That's a big deal in an entire league. He was the guy here. He'll field it at about the 19-yard line. Looks a cut left. There's a hole up the middle. And he's found that hole. And he's going to get out the outside. He might take it all the way. Here he goes, 20, 15, 10, touchdown, Las Vegas Raiders. What a play. That's the play we've been waiting for. A break in the play. McAllister takes it the distance. Touchdown into the win field club, and the Raiders are back in the game.
You called it, JT. Yeah, you called it.
Lincoln Kennedy saying I called it. Well, I mentioned he led the CFL in punt returns, thanks to Mike Taylor, who pointed that out to me. I dropped in, turn it up. I dropped in the Wynn Field Club so I get the hookup on non-game days for the concerts at the Wynn Field Club. I'm always looking to hook you up. Try to hook you up every day. That's why I have the best pizza in town, Grimaldi's. The $50 gift card is back. We'll be giving them away weekly to people who deserve them. They call in. They have something good to say. They add to the show. As I'm looking at my phone and waiting on the roster before 1 o'clock, and get an opportunity of what we're going to see here for the Raiders. No big surprises. We know the depth of this team, the strength of this team. What needs to happen? What needs to happen? And Mary Kay Cabot just reports that the Browns quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who played at Gorman, being informed today that he's made the 53. Sources tell her. A lot of people liked him as a potential fit here. Speaking of Gorman, Joe Arrigo will join us next hour, pretty much an hour from now, 1:30 Pacific on UNLV football. I want to do a little bit of UNLV today. They got their first game coming up. But Bishop Gorman now has a chance to win the national championship in the next game if they beat Mater Dei. If Bishop Gorman beats Mater Dei, the number 2 team in the country, they're not going to lose. Not going to lose to anybody else. All due respect to Liberty, Coronado, all the other schools here that I really want to see compete against Gorman. I don't like when Gorman beats teams 75-0. I do not, because my son was trying to get in those games when they were 50-0, and I was on the sidelines with smoke coming out of my ear. But Gorman is a national championship contender, and they just won an amazing game in Florida, and they got a chance now to have a little bit of a break before Mater Dei. Top of the hour, a gentleman by the name of Cliff Atkinson is going to join us. He's the new president of Virgin Hotels, the Grand Poobah over there, and they're making a lot of changes, and they're a new partner, so we're going to get him on and get this ready to go. 702-365-9200 is the number. If you want to jump in, get in here on what surprises you think. Who do you want to see make the team? Who do you think could be the big cut overall? College football is open. Excited for the game on Sunday, LSU, USC. If you're going to that game, that could be historic. That'll be the first standing room only football game at Allegiant Stadium. John Cicenti, who's putting on that game and the Las Vegas Bowl, will be in studio with me tomorrow. We're longtime friends, go back a long way. Excited to talk to him. Jim's Cards and Comics. Jim in Vegas. How are you, Jim? What's going on, buddy?
Hey, buddy, JT. How are you?
I'm
man?
good, Jim.
Good. All right. Hey, I think a major impact player for the Raiders obviously is going to be Zamir White.
Mm-hmm.
You could make or break the season for the Raiders. We have to have a balanced attack. We need a running game. Time of possession, move the chains. That's the player that's going to really make a difference in what the Raiders can do and try to make a playoff run.
Hey, Jim, let me interrupt you for a second. You nailed it. I don't know what Zamir White can do. I was in meetings with him. I've seen him. He walks into the meeting with shorts. It looks like he has tree trunks from the forest up at Muir Woods. He looks sick up close. I don't know what he can do. I don't know if he can hit the hole as quick as Josh Jacobs. I don't know if he's got Earl Campbell head down at the goal line. We will see. If he plays above his ability, Raiders could have a big year on the ground.
Well, if he could average 4+ yards carry, I think we're pretty good because that's going to move the chains. And that's what we need because then time of possession keeps the ball on our favor, not the other team. So moving the chains is very important. And it's going to open up the middle of the field and the long pass for the quarterback. So I think he's a major impact player for the Raiders this season. If he does good, the Raiders do good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. Thank you for the call. There's a couple of players here that have to play great because if they play well, like the running back, Zamir White, it could change everything. Brock Bowers and Zamir White are two young players who both played at Georgia who are known for moving the chains. They have to move the chains. Opens up a line for you, 702-365-9200. Bobby, we're getting to the end of summertime radio.
Yeah.
Because now next week, it's going to be very intense around here. Because it's already intense in New York with the Jets. It's already intense with Cleveland and the Browns. It's already always intense in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. Not as intense for your team, the Patriots. Now you're in a lot of Patriot vibe. But then again, for 20 years, you had a dynasty, so no one's shedding a tear for you.
Of course.
Yep. So we'll see what happens here as this roster is going to be released momentarily.
I don't mind because I got the 6 rings. We have the legends. We have our history. We're good to go.
Yeah.
If we're lousy for a couple of years, it's okay. We'll build up through the draft. It'll be fine.
Yes, and you're Raider friendly too. You're not an anti-Raider guy. You run the Raider show and the games. You like the Raiders.
I have much
respect
for
the Raiders. I know you do.
Yeah.
Around the league, the Raiders here at NFL.com, Nathan Peterman out, Jeff Foreman out, obviously from the injury and not much there. The Chargers are going to be an interesting, the Chargers, and this is who's been let go. Alex Leatherwood. Interesting. Haven't heard that name in a while. And then when we get to Kansas City, a lot of their players that are out and are not going to be here. Kadarius Toney, wide receiver, is a pretty big one. Phillip Brooks. And they let go of 3 guards earlier today. So Kansas City's getting in front of this. I want to mention Jacksonville. Jacksonville let go of a couple of cornerbacks here and a couple of good players overall. And Tavon Campbell was let go, and Terrell Edmonds, the defensive back. So I'm bringing him up because that's supposed to be a name that a lot of teams are looking at. the safety number 45 from the Jaguars being released today. So every team, the best teams in football, the teams that have the deepest rosters, they're going to have to let go of players because they just have too many good players. That is not the case with the Raiders. The Raiders are not in a position where you look and go, oh, my God, they got to let go of a player because their 53-man roster is complete and loaded. It's a good 53, but I think Tom Telesco wants to leave a little room to go out and get another player, and he's going to pick up a player or two on waivers, and I think that would be the cornerback. A lot of people have asked me about right tackle. What did we learn? Well, Thayer Mumford played okay, but he got banged up in the hand a few times. And DJ Glaze, I thought, played at a pretty high level, the third-round pick out of Maryland. If he's getting forced to play, I think he could play and play at a very high level. So, but is that going to – how do you want to put a rookie right tackle up against an all-pro defensive edge rusher? Those are the things you worry about when we take a look at depth and what you have to do. The Raiders have decided through multiple regimes that they don't want to spend a lot of money on right tackles, veteran right tackles. Okay, we know their philosophies so far, but could that change today if a good player is made available because there's a cap casualty and we can go down that? Yesterday, the big storyline, I did my show at the Win. Last night, it was all about CeeDee Lamb. Everybody calling in on CeeDee Lamb, setting the market now right behind Justin Jefferson at $136 million. So Devontae is going to make more money at some point. So Devontae, when he signed and came to the Raiders gave up 2 first-round picks and had to agree for a lot of money for Devontae. And Devontae deserved that every penny he's got. Devontae is a first-ballot Hall of Famer now. Already he's got a gold jacket. But this sets the market for what Devontae could be worth pretty quickly here. And then there's Trent Williams with the 49ers, who's out of his mind. Reports are today that he's not going to play for the 49ers unless they significantly rework his contract with guarantees at the left tackle position. So I think Trent Williams is going to come back. He's going to get more money. They're going to be able to move the math around a little bit, give him some more guaranteed money, which he probably deserves. But Brandon Ayuk not being signed as of right now is significant because I don't believe they can win without Brandon Ayuk. And they are a Super Bowl contending team. You know, I make my Super Bowl pick next week. I do it every year, and I've been right a few times. I got a Peyton Manning Denver one right, the Russell Wilson Super Bowl, I guess, right. Last couple of years, I haven't. I picked Dak Prescott and the Cowboys last year. They were really good, really good. I felt good about that pick. And 2 years in a row before that, I picked Buffalo. 2 years in a row, and I was pretty close. Remember, they had a 13-second lead in Kansas City and blew that. This year, I'm leaning towards the Detroit Lions as a Super Bowl pick out of the NFC. I'm leaning towards them. Not going to select them yet, and I have no clue in the AFC because I won't pick the Chiefs. Now, one of my sons said, well, Dad, do you think the Chiefs will win? You're just not going to pick them because you don't like them? I said, yeah, there's a lot to that. The Chiefs, what am I going to say? The Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl? Of course they can, but I won't pick them. And I didn't think the Chiefs were going to win it last year. I really thought that the schedule, taking them into Baltimore, having them play in Baltimore was going to knock them out into a Buffalo, and they won. This year, I think Kansas City is going to be more focused to win the Super Bowl because they're going for a three-peat. But I think the competition level is going to be tougher on them as everybody's trying to knock off the 2-time Super Bowl champs. And I think they'll come up a little bit short. But I love when I'm diving into these schedules and I'm looking at season win totals. And I'm trying to figure this out as Carla, my good friend, says, blank the Chiefs. She's inside the studio on YouTube. The issue with the Chiefs this year is I think there's going to be a step back in some AFC teams. I don't like Cincinnati and Buffalo as much as I have. And that's good for the Raiders. We play Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's highly overrated. I really do. And I think they got problems with their receivers who are money hungry and are going to be a problem. I don't love their roster. And Buffalo's roster clearly isn't better than it has been the last couple of years. Miami doesn't have Christian Wilkerson. Right? We have Christian Wilkinson. Right. So I think Miami's going to be just as good, 10-11 win team. The team that concerns me for the Raiders this year for a wild card spot are the Jets. Because the Jets are really good. They have Aaron Rodgers. They have good receivers. They have an elite secondary. And last year, we couldn't take a look at the Jets. Raiders beat the Jets and the Giants back-to-back. But beating the Jets, there was no Aaron Rodgers. So I got to assume that the Jets are going to be a 9 or 10 win team and a wild card winner or not. And then I get back to Denver and the Chargers. Denver doesn't have the players that I think the Chargers have. Both the Chargers and Denver have an inferior roster than the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
Anybody will tell you that. You want to go man-to-man, player-to-player, you line up the Raiders, Denver, and the Chargers. The Raiders have the better roster. But everybody's putting in all this love towards the coaches, Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton. And the quarterbacks now. Justin Herbert is really good, and Bo Nix. So Bo Nix is now the new popular choice for popular people. If Bo Nix, remember, C.J. Stroud was a really good player, and he had a great year, not a good year, great year. A lot of people think nationally that Bo Nix could do what C.J. Stroud did last year. I am not one of them. I am saying slow your roll. Slow your roll just a little bit, and let's see how this plays out. Now, I'd like to get Bo Nix week 1. He's never played. I would have loved that game in Denver or here because he's never played. I'll take Gardner Minshew with a ton of experience over Bo Nix. But Justin Herbert's out of the boot now. He's going to play, but they don't have the receivers that they had, and that's going to be a big storyline next week. So rosters are going to be important here because sooner or later someone's going to take a look at the Charger roster and say, all right, the offensive line is pretty good, and they have Khalil Mack and Bosa. So right out of the gate, I'm thinking that that game is going to be physical. And did you see enough physicality out of the Raiders in the preseason or at camp? I didn't, but I have the caveat to that. I have the asterisk. I did with Max Crosby. Max Crosby had a better camp than anyone in the Charger organization or in the Bronco organization. So he wreaked pure havoc. He wreaked havoc. So that's a strength to the Raiders because everybody saw that. And everybody who comes out of the tunnel with Max is held to that standard. Hey, see that guy right there, number 98? You better play your ass off like him because if you don't, he's going to point in your face and make you do it. Is Bosa going to do that with the Chargers? No. Khalil Mack, I love. He's a great player. Great player, Khalil. I mean, Khalil was a great Raider. He's a great Charger. He's a Hall of Famer. But he's not a vocal leader like Max Crosby. And then we get to the quarterbacks. Got to hope that Justin Herbert doesn't have an elite game at home. I can't see the Chargers playing a great game considering all the things that have been surrounding that team this offseason with injuries to Herbert, him not working out with the ones, but he's out of the boot, and he's doing that now. We're waiting on the Raiders schedule. It should come in any minute. We'll tell you more about it. Open line at 702-365-9200 if you want to get in. Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. It's named after Charles. Did you see the new Raider opening with Charles when the Raiders come out and they open the game, the intro to the actual game? And there's Charles Woodson with his Woodson Bourbon Whiskey, and his face morphs into a skeleton. I love that, man. That all-time legend has a whiskey that is climbing the charts in Vegas and nationally. Next time you order a whiskey, ask for a Woodson Bourbon Whiskey because that's the official whiskey of the Raiders. That's a big deal as Charles is growing that brand. If you can't find it at your local spot, let us know, and we'll let Woodson Bourbon Whiskey know. That's how the teamwork works here on the show. 702-365-9200. Countdown to the Raiders roster release or leak or notes coming up in a matter of minutes. Stick around for that. Be the first to know. And we'll get rolling there. Cliff Atkinson from Virgin Hotels at the top of the hour. Joe Arrigo on Bishop Gorman and UNLV. And I'll mix in everything on the Raiders. Q told me Tom Telesco at 2 o'clock. They're going to try to take that live.
You can stay in touch with your favorite stations and shows no matter your location by simply downloading the free LV Sports Network app for both iPhone and Android. Go to the App Store or Google Play and search LV Sports Network. Download and you are good to go.
Download and you are good to go. How's the app been working, everybody? Has anybody tried the LV Sports Net app compared to the Raider app? What do you got to tell me with that?
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet.
LV Sports app works way better. Okay, that comes from Adam. Michael, no glitches. Which one, Michael? The LV or the Raiders? Which one has no glitches?
It's the same bus the players use, so you can ride like a pro. M-Ride will take you round trip from Circa or the Palms to Allegiant Stadium or T-Mobile Arena. No more hassle parking, sitting in traffic, or waiting in long taxi or rideshare lines. M-Ride
All right,
will get
so
in and out quickly.
Raider app has been working lately. Good.
MRideLV.com. Use promo code BRICK. That's MRideLV.com. Promo code BRICK.
This Lotus Cares message is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Personal Injury Law Firm. School is back in session. That means crossing guards, school zones, and extra kids running to get to school on time in the morning and afternoon. Pay attention. Put the phone down. Know where the school zones are, and let's have a safe school year. This Lotus Cares message is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe, voted best personal injury law firm. Call 702-877-1500.
Terrible's Gaming is giving away a $10,000 vacation every week now through September 30th. Play at your local Terrible's, Terrible's Market, Albertsons, or Vaughn's for your chance to win a 7-day Alaskan cruise, wine tasting in Napa Valley, a 4-night stay on Waikiki Beach, and so much more. Oh yeah, we're also giving away $10,000 in weekly free play. Play for your chance to win at Terrible's Markets, Albertsons, or Vaughn's near you. Visit TerriblesGaming.com for details. Must be 21 years or older with a valid Terrible's Gaming player's card.
The only thing more satisfying than a crisp fall day is a crisp fall day inside your cozy, spotless home. Right now, shop Labor Day savings on select cleaning essentials and exclusive brands from the Home Depot. Plus, with fast free delivery, you don't have to worry about running out of your favorite cleaners, paper products, trash bags, and more. The Home Depot has everything you need to get ready for a fall refresh. Get your home crisp, clean, and ready for the season with the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on over 2 million items subject to availability.
This song doesn't have a name, but if it did, it would probably be something about togetherness, because it's a collaboration, not between pop stars and producers, but between music therapists and kids. Music therapy is a treatment that doesn't involve medication or needles, and it's been
We
proven
need to
to
get
help
Steph on
prevent
next week.
pain and contribute to faster healing.
Just, you know,
So it shouldn't surprise
I went on their show the other day. It was nice. Yep.
the power of we.
So we should get her in the grid like we do like once a month Friday.
Yeah.
Perfection with a deep passion for agave. It's the most
Yep.
Notice its beautiful packaging, and after just
What is on today? My Yankees are playing well, which is nice. Kind of not complaining about the Yankees and bitching about them lately, which is something I normally do.
Tequila Comisario, a proud partner of
Oh, I got a tequila commissario for you, and I gave you a good one. What did I give you before? Woodson.
Tito's,
Woodson.
PT, the usual. Get those ones so far.
See the voice of Quiet Riot right here? You hear the spot? That's not Kevin DeBro, the bro guy, right?
No, that's the bro. That's the bro they're using the actual record as opposed to a live version.
That's bullshit. So they're using a record to promote the concert?
Yeah, of course.
Not the new singer, the voice. Who's the,
Dude, by the time you produce an ad with a new singer, they got a new singer.
you know what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying.
No, I get it. That's just
T the Brick Show. Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft
Antonio
vodka.
Pierce.
Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Yeah, just the way we compete. I thought today, even, the game at times was up and down, emotional. And then the guys at the very end, Carter and those guys moving the ball on offense. And I thought they did a great job of just, celebrating with one another, coaching each other up on the sideline, cheering for one another, and competing. So, like, when we put our 53-man roster together, we know what it's like. We know what it's about in this business. But, what we wanted to accomplish from the training camp and what we started in the off-season program, I think we've done that.
It's Antonio Pierce. He's got a tough day going on. You can imagine what they're doing over in the building, Raiders headquarters. JT, back with you. We're brought to you by Tequila Commissario. Real quick story on that. Morris Bradshaw, a former wide receiver, Super Bowl champion for the Raiders, came over to my house on Sunday. And he came over with his wife, Debbie, and they're a legendary couple with the Raiders. They're tight with the Davis family, the Madden family, the Flores family, and Mo likes tequila. So he came in and we had some Tequila Commissario. He said, what is this? Love the bottle. I sent him home with a bottle of their reserve, which is the best tequila, the 7-year age tequila. It's just incredible. And Mo thanked me when he got back up to the Bay Area, as he said he was sipping on a Tequila Commissario. So that's how I'm spreading the word. And my heart was full hanging out with Mo Bradshaw at my house. And he's a good man and a big part of my life. He had a lot to do with what we did every year with the Commitment to Excellence Awards as he put it together with the alumni behind the scenes, the steering committee. So I love Morris Bradshaw and Debbie Bradshaw. And it was great to see all of the alumni that showed up. I had a really good opportunity to talk to Bill Romanowski and his wife, Julie. His wife, Julie, suffered a very serious accident skiing, very serious, life-threatening. And she recovered from it. And she looked great. And then I talked to Romo for a good 10 minutes or so at Brooklyn Bowl. And, man, he was quizzing me. And I don't know anything compared to him. He was asking about the offense, Minshew, this, that, Bowers, and all that. And he's pretty excited about the upcoming season. So the alumni did a great job. And do you know that, Bobby, coming up, Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And that is coming up here this weekend. And it's a big deal for the Weathers family, Mark Davis, the alumni department. Think of this. How long did it take for Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, all the movies he was in to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? If you are a Raider fan, please, please be there. Please Google it, find out the information. I'll get it for you and be a part of that. How great would it be to see a bunch of Raider jerseys right there in Hollywood as Carl Weathers gets his long overdue star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I remember when Rocky came out in the movies and my mom took me and the kids in my neighborhood to the movies. I remember after that movie, I thought I could run through a wall. And I will never forget, there's a couple of movies in your life that have an impact on you that you can remember in the movie theater. And that was it. And it was almost Carl Weathers as much as Stallone as Rocky. Because I thought he played the Ali role, the character of Ali, as good as Ali in real life. And then getting to know him over the years. And he'd come back to the alumni events and light the torch in memory of Al Davis. That was pretty cool. Also, Gus Otto just lit the torch. Legend in the AFL. That was really cool. So I love that. And I love the fact that we saw Romo and Marcus and Howie Long and Marcus Allen and this team worked really well to get so many people out there. So as we're taking a look now, we're going to get some cuts coming here momentarily. My phone is starting to get busy and active here. So we'll come back. Vic Tafer just tweeted out, no surprises with Raiders cuts. Team will announce soon. I can confirm that. We'll go out to Virgin Hotels to talk to their new president. That's been scheduled for a while. And then Joe Arrigo will join us, and we'll get into Bishop Gorman and UNLV and talk about the Raiders too. So busy hour coming up next. Appreciate everybody on our YouTube stream. JT the Brick, YT.
The best way to start your football.
All right, everybody. I'm going to keep it here for a few minutes because the roster's coming out, so I don't want to cut everybody off. But it's not, I'm getting a text now from the Raiders. It's not going to be earth-shattering here.
Your home for Westwood One's radio coverage of Monday Night Football all season long is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM.
Brought to you by Paul Patta Law. It's not about the injury, it's
All
about
right.
the recovery.
What else is going on, everybody?
Gamblers bonus hits again. On May 24th, John hit 4 sixes, clearing his Gamblers bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for almost $15,000.
John hit big and so can you with Gambler's Bonus. It's why you play the game.
This is JT reminding you Raising Cane's has a new location in North Las Vegas, Deer Springs and North 5th Street. Get Cane's for your brains. When life speeds up, order online at RaisingCanes.com or through their mobile app for cook-to-order chicken.
I like Wells. I'd let Wells fight through this and play that.
Buttery Texas toast and their craveable cane sauce.
Again, we are not the show of the practice squad. I'm not here to debate practice squad players. I'm just here to debate who's going to make the team.
Hi, my name is Tony Smith, the new GM at Finley Kia, bringing you 28 years of auto industry experience, centrally located here in Las Vegas. My dealership is ready to serve you with exceptional leasing terms on several of our top models. Plus, enjoy the best warranty in the business with 10 years or 100,000 miles on all new models. You thinking about going green? Well, we have new EVs arriving weekly. For this month, for every new EV we sell, I'm going to be giving away a level 2 charger to help you keep powered up at home. Again, my name is Tony Smith, the new GM at your centrally located Finley Kia of Las Vegas.
Seminar February 6th.
That Judge's catch yesterday was incredible, man. Again, he's better than Ohtani, and Ohtani's great. Ohtani's not having the year judges having, no doubt about it.
Michelle attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43.
Yeah, what's going on with the like button? You're right about that. Everybody hit the like button. Take a second. At 301 people here, 91 likes, man. Analytics. Hit the like button.
So much energy. And look great.
Stop smoking. Lose weight now without cravings, irritability, or your money back. Early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. Join Mark Patrick's Hypnosis Seminar Sunday, September 8th at the Santa Fe Station Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Registration, 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Learn more at markpatrickseminars.com.
Patty Davidson here from BetMoneyHoney.com. Have you ever felt like the odd man out at a friend's house watching the game? After years in the sports betting industry, I can teach you the rules of different sporting events so you can now be part of that crowd of cheering fans with an understanding of the game. Plus, I can teach you how to place a bet on a game which will completely change your perspective because you too can be a winner. Join me at BetMoneyHoney.com. That's BetMoneyHoney.com.
All right.
You're injured. No,
All right. I just got the roster. Look at that. Me. Just got the roster.
family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father, to our family, to the expert legal Okay, so I'm just waiting on a clip. We founded this firm for you. We're the Castordi brothers.
All right, you guys are getting this before the radio crew. Waived. The following players have been waived: David Agoa, Clark Barrington, Carter Bradley, Ben Brown, Britton Brown, Matthew Butler, Terrell Bynum, Andrew Coker, Cole Forthringham, TJ Franklin, Woo Governor, Jadon Grant, Tulu Griffin, McCall, Sincere McCormick, waived, Jalen McKenzie, Dax Mill, Jackson Mitchell, Will Putnam, Sanford, Noah, Shannon, Shanker, Quan, Snowden didn't make the team. Sam Webb. Released the following players: Armstrong, Bachman, Gentry, Guyton, Peterman, Wilkinson. Injury: Ron Stone Jr. Reserve injured list: Trey Taylor. All right, we're good. We got everybody.
We got some big dudes today. Who's going to start that first game? Aiden O'Connell 1. Gardner Minshew 2. I want the ball out. I want the ball out quickly. I want slants. Will the ball get out? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi out.
JT the Bread.
And in the last receive, we took too much time in between plays for no apparent reason. We got to get Brock Bowers the ball all the time. He is a gift from the sports gods handed to us in Vegas. If Bowers comes in with 73 receptions and 11 touchdowns or 9 touchdowns, that changes everything. If I'm wrong, you know what I find.
And now, get him the ball. Here's JT the Bread.
All right, everybody, I have the cuts. They just came in, and I'll read them to you as we continue on the flagship of the Silver and Black. This is Raider Nation Radio. As we continue on hour number 2 of the show, I just got this from the Raiders, and these are the transactions. The following players have been waived: David Agoa, Barrington, Clark Barrington, Carter Bradley, Ben Brown, Britton Brown, Matthew Butler, Terrell Bynum, Andrew Coker, Cole Forthringham, TJ Franklin, Woo Governor, Jadon Grant, waived the safety, Tulu Griffin, McCall, the defensive tackle, Sincere McCormick, man, I called his name a lot, the running back, the tackle, Jalen McKenzie, Dax Milne, the wide receiver, Jackson Mitchell, the linebacker, Will Putnam, the center, who a lot of people thought he could make the team, waived, Phelan Sanford, Noah Shannon, John Samuel Shanker, the tight end, Jaquan Shepard, the cornerback, Charles Snowden, it's a big one, he had a chance to make the team, Charles Snowden waived, Dalton Wagner waived, Sam Webb, Deshaun White, and Rashard Williams, the cornerback. Released the following players. Outright release: Cornell Armstrong, Alex Backman, Zach Gentry, Jalen Guyton, Nathan Peterman, Christian Wilkerson, wide receiver. Waived and or injured: the following players: Luciano, the offensive lineman, Ellison Smith, the defensive end, and Ron Stone Jr., the defensive end, who I liked a lot. Placed Trey Taylor on the reserved injured list, the safety, and waived because they failed the physical. The following player is Darian Butler, the linebacker. So there it is. Those are all the players who were waived and no longer there with the Raiders. Some special consideration. So we can work backwards on the math and who made the team. And some of the players that are going to be here, the full roster, will come out momentarily. But that was the first thing we needed. That was the thing you were waiting on for me to give you first. We had that. And now we're able to go through this. And we're excited about some of the players. So those are the roster transactions. Not a whole bunch of surprises there overall. I think the wide receiver battles are really interesting with Wilkerson out. Some of the players that played really good down the stretch. I'm keeping an eye on Vinny Bonsignore and Vic Tafer and Deshaun Reed, and to see what other players are there now. And look, they cut some players, and they cut some players that are pretty good here. And we'll see what happens. As Vinny reports, the injury to Brandon Faison is what changed things. Sounds like they were okay with what they had at the beginning and now worried about the depth. As we go through this list now coming through, we'll have the full Raider roster coming up here, but you can do the math backwards by figuring out who was left out. If you have anything you want to Gainer, yes, really good player. I looked through the rest of this list here, some of the players that are not here. Everybody played hard. Everybody put themselves in a position to make the team. When you look at certain players, and I love the way, McAllister played. How about the way he played in that game? The ability to score a touchdown and have 2 touchdowns in the game. Some victory stories there for everybody. So this is tough. This is tough now. And we'll see what you think of this as we put together the 53 overall here. And this is in alphabetical order. And I'm reading this live on radio. And as you know, I don't read the radio show, but I'm reading this because I just got the list here. Yeah, Gainer's good, and some of the other players that are here. So Snowden, I looked at Snowden and Butler, and, when you look at Matthew Butler, the defensive tackle, it just didn't work out. Britton Brown, for obvious reasons, I think they have enough now with going with the running backs that they have and the depth of that, and Lalby making the team and his ability to play. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to give you some information when we get it. If you have any comments about what you want to see here, a lot of people thought that Snowden, let me double check here. Yeah, Charles Snowden waived, the defensive end, 6'7". I thought he played really well. And the other name that a lot of people were waiting on the offensive line, there were a couple of good offensive line players that potentially could have made the team. Let me go through this list here pretty quickly. Will Putnam, the center. Remember the incident with the helmet coming off and Max and all that? He played well. I thought he played really good. Wu Governor, I think, is going to be a player that's picked up along the way. And I wonder what the Raiders are going to be able to do when the Raiders want to maybe get another player coming in here. I think there's going to be more players, or at least one more player coming in. I think the Raiders, if they're going to be aggressive with anything, they need to be aggressive when it comes to the ability to get a corner. Another veteran corner here. So this was just tweeted out. I'm tweeting it out. If you want to look at it on Twitter, I just reposted it from Raiders PR. Go to JT the Brick on Twitter, and you can see everything there. When we look at this day, I always say this about this day. We got a guest coming up here in a minute. When we look at this day, it's a tough day because of all the people's names who are waived that I just read. Some of them will never play football again. Some of them are never going to play football again, and others are going to go play on another team. When you look at a practice squad move and a player playing here, that's one thing. But I'll tell you, the big name here that was on the bubble released was Christian Wilkerson. I thought he played well at times. Now, he's a guy who flashed a number of preseasons around here. Also, I was not impressed with Jalen Guyton. I didn't expect him to be here. He was released. Alex Backman showed at camp, at least in Costa Mesa. I thought he had a couple of good games. Zach Gentry, who was released, is a beast at tight end. Big guy. Can do a lot of other things. And then when it comes to reserve injured list, designated, Trey Taylor, the safety coming in, is a player from Air Force who had a lot of acclaim tremendous amount of acclaim in college. Okay, that's an interesting designated to return to see him come back. So overall, that's your Raider roster. We can work backwards here and get a feel for this. I'm also waiting on your phone calls if you want to get in. Cliff Atkinson will join us from Virgin, our proud partner, coming in momentarily. And I'm looking at Adam Schefter and trying to go through Ian Rappaport here quickly. This is why, Bobby, when you have a co-host, your co-host can just fill, for a few minutes, but I don't have that. I have to read and talk and chew gum at the same time. It's now 4:00 Eastern. Teams are now required to be at 53 players on their active roster. As always, this is not the end, as rosters will be fluid through the start of the season and into eternity. Notable transactions: the Chargers released tight end Donald Parham. The Browns released Deontay Foreman and placed Mike Hall Jr. on the exempt list. The Titans released Isaiah Ayton and put him back on the practice squad. The Dolphins will start Odell Beckham Jr. on the PUP list, per Tom Pelissero. The Bills have traded for Jets defensive back and returner Brandon Codrington. So that was reported a little while ago. And then we also know the trade, Tom Pelissero, the Cowboys are finalizing a trade, sending Peyton Hendershot, the tight end, to the Chiefs for a late round conditional pick, per sources. So a lot of these moves are going to pop up here as we get rolling here. And again, tough day for the Raider players that were waived and released. And that's not the end of the world, because some of them are going to end up on other teams. Others might find their way back here. Raider 66 joins us momentarily on the program as we continue on the flagship of the Silver and Black ahead.
Before the break of the hour, I don't know. I thought Hollywood was a little different. We're used to it. Raider fans, we're used to the Hall of Fame, switching our players and waiting until after they pass before the honor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know that Hollywood was going to be the same road. Maybe Wade was biased against the Raiders. Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
And a lot of good movies. Predator and the Rock.
Yeah, that's weird. But I've known that because I lived out in LA for 10 years. A lot of times you have to buy that star. Mark Davis, I believe, stepped up. I don't know all the details there, but that was something that was a long time in the making. But I want your expertise on this roster, Raider 66. Any surprises to you? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number of good players that we have, which is nice to see, because in the previous years, we were scrambling to fill holes.
Mm-hmm.
So this excellent talent was good. And Wilkerson, that catch he had in practice where he went up high pointed between two defenders. Like you said, he had his moments.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll pass through and we can pick them up as well. I'm reminded of a time back in 1967 when Al Davis.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was a huge, really talented evaluator, and he watched film all the time. So he's watching film with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he sees this receiver out there, and he says, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Oh, there's Taylor's on the outside. Who's this guy?" Well, it turned out to be Warren Wells. In Kansas City, he made the mistake of trying to pass him through waivers, and nothing gets past Al Davis. Al grabbed him, and all he did was to be the been around a little bit longer
Right.
than a Hall of Fame career. And 56 games, 42 touchdowns, and a
Right.
career, not a season, a career average of over 23 yards per catch.
My friend, I got to run. I got a guest here, but that was a good example for that. Appreciate Raider 66 for joining us as where the roster came out a little while ago. No big surprises. So we're thrilled by that, and it's going to be a big day. Tom Telesco, the GM, will speak at the top of the hour. We'll cover it here on the flagship Raider Nation Radio. My friend and partner on this show, Cliff Atkinson, kind enough to join us, the president of Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. And Cliff, you're a big football guy. On this day, cutdowns hurt a lot of players, but finally we go from 90 to 53. How are you, my friend? I'm feeling good. As the caller just said, the Raiders have a pretty good roster, which is good about this. The Raiders don't have a lot of holes, but I think they've left some room to go out and maybe get a free agent, a player through waivers to help the cornerback situation. And as you know, from the Niners just being in town and the Raiders playing the Cowboys, the Raiders didn't play their starters a lot and had to make that big decision. The big one was going with Gardner Minshew as the starter. You've seen him play live before, and he's won some games in this league. So I think Raider fans are excited about that.
I think there's a lot to be excited about. And I got to tell you, those preseason games at Allegiant, that Niner game did not feel like a preseason
You're right.
That felt like opening day.
Yeah.
The energy was great, and your call on the touchdown was it was like a playoff game.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Cliff, want to ask you about, since you've taken over at Virgin with your vision, your success that you've had nationally, but especially here in Vegas, you're putting your handprints on the property. You're a proud partner. What are you excited about going forward?
There's a lot to be excited. Even starting as soon as right now, today, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we have our party at Cassie Beach Club. It's a full house party and a night swim starts at 7 p.m. We got live entertainment, DJs, a fire burlesque show, all kinds of crazy things. Come by Virgin tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 p.m. And then this fall, there's a lot to be excited about. Wu-Tang Clan, their residency, the first hip-hop residency in Las Vegas. Wu-Tang Clan is back September 27th and 28th here at the theater at Virgin Hotels. And then we've got a great lineup over Rodeo. Rodeo's going to be great this year. We got Bislin, Tanya Tucker, Shabuzi's coming in to do some fun songs. So we got a lot going on there. And then my favorite and my Raiders tie-in, Lily Arcee.
Yes.
Every Saturday night, part of the house band with David Perico. She's actually David Perico's wife. She brings all the fun, 9 p.m. every Saturday with her wonderful band, Top 40.
We just had David and the house band play the Raiders alumni event at Brooklyn Bowl, which was a lot of fun. My DNA runs through the old Hard Rock, which is Virgin, from the dining experience to the pools to the convention space and everything you have going. And when the theater is activated, which I know you're passionate about, keeping the customers there and all the people there having a good time after a show with the Shag Room and what you're about to do in the future. It's a place that people should come visit again to see what you're going to be doing heading into not only this football season, but into 2025.
Exactly. Not only do we have a great lineup and more to come, the Shag Room right now, but I got construction walls up. I got some surprises to launch later this fall. We're going to announce some fun things, and then that all important bringing back the center bar in 2025 is a priority for me and our team. So and doing it in a fun way where we're going to hang out. Raiders fans can hang out, visiting fans can hang out, and live music, good times, and just having fun. That's what we think Vegas is, and that's what we think our property has always been, and we want to take that into the future.
And Cliff, what I'm excited about is from One Steak to all the restaurants that you have, the success of Nobu, to all the other activations there. Food, dining, spirits is a big deal there. And a lot of people I know love to go there every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to go out to dinner. You have some of the best restaurants in Vegas.
We do. You just mentioned a couple. Nobu, of course, the home of the original Nobu in Las Vegas. And then One Steakhouse, we've added live entertainment there. We have a wonderful lineup of really great solo performers in the steakhouse, too. So you come have a drink with John O'Donnell, come listen to some live music. That's every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. And the fun just continues here at Virgin.
And as we wrap this up, F1 was really a success for you, and you were the host of CBS in the Super Bowl. So you had two massive activations on top of the conventions and all the people that hadn't been to Virgin in a while who were right there, right on top of the paddock for F1, and then the way you pulled off the Super Bowl.
Yeah, thank you. Both events, if you can believe that, they were 90 days apart. Yeah. F1 and in November, then we go right into my dream Super Bowl with a terrible ending for me, but a wonderful experience. But only Vegas could do that. And F1, look, we're the unofficial home of F1. We're right next door to the paddock, so we're the rideshare partner. Come early, stay late, hang out here for F1. Even if you don't have tickets, just be a part of it with all the activations that we have. And then Super Bowl. Brick, I hope we're the home of Super Bowl every 3 or 4 years. There's no reason why Las Vegas should not be on that rotation as often as possible with that wonderful facility we have and a town that throws hospitality and throws parties better than any town in the world.
Well,
we should be here it should be here every year, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree with you. We'll be doing this a lot with you. We'll be coming out to the property all the time. We'll have some remotes, and whenever you feel comfortable with your busy schedule to come in studio and come on. This is a big partnership for us, especially before the start of football season. You being such a football fan and sports fan that we can get everybody over to Virgin, and I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and let's have a great season.
You got it. There he is, everybody. Cliff Atkinson. We'll give him more time coming up here because he is a partner of the show. The Raider roster was just released, those players who were waived, and I'm excited to be there. He's bringing back the center bar, and I understood the vision before Cliff took over, why they removed the center bar, what they're doing. The center bar needs to be back at Virgin Hotels. It's where I met my wife as a stranger, walking up to get a cocktail before the Rolling Stones, and it's where a lot of people met their significant other. So that's coming back, the pool, the restaurants, Virgin Hotels, proud partner of our show. And the reason why that is really important to me is because we got them here, then they left for COVID and reconstruction and all that, and Cliff was one of the first guys that said, we want you back here. And we're back. So thanks again, and everybody go check out Virgin. So the roster is out here. I went through the list of players who are waived. We want to get your reaction to the Raiders roster. This is an important day for us because now we can focus on exactly what the Raiders want to do going forward here. So exactly what the Raiders are going to do going forward here, the depth of the roster. I think it's a pretty good roster overall. I don't think they're done yet. I've been saying that. I don't think the Raiders are done yet. So I got to dive in and find out what some of the other insiders were saying. There weren't a lot of big moves here overall. I think the moves that are going to be made were made already, other than possibly another cornerback, because there's going to be some good corners were waived earlier today. Well, Vinny Bonsignore 1 minute ago. Not the biggest surprise, but the Raiders are keeping youngsters Ramel Keaton and Tyreek McAllister at wide receiver. From the beginning of camp, through the preseason, they outplayed Wilkerson and Guyton. I agree with that 100%. I thought Wilkerson would probably make the team, a little bit more of a veteran player, heavily involved, but he played deep into the game. I wasn't impressed with Guyton much. I didn't think he was able to do much. And again, Ramel Keaton is a nice target. He's a nice target. Is he a game changer? I don't know, but he's a nice target running across the middle of the field, and we all know Tyreek McAllister had 2 touchdowns in the last game, and that's the player that fought himself to make this roster. Really good. Vinny Bonsignore also tweeted out players with less than 4 years of service are waived and eligible to be claimed on the waiver wire. Players with 4 or more years of service get released and become free agents eligible to sign with other teams. So what we will see here over the next couple of hours, we're going to see what players end up on other teams, the players that are waived. And look, a guy like Tom Telesco, before the Niner game, he was standing on the sidelines with John Lynch for 20 minutes. He's talked to every single GM in this league. He has his eyes on a couple of players that are going to be there that could be interesting. So the Raiders, according to Sean Reed, 2 minutes ago, kept 6 wide receivers. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, DJ Turner, Tyreek McAllister, and Keaton. Special teams plays a big factor in keeping so many linebackers and wide receivers. The Raiders had 2 undrafted free agents make the 53-man roster. Linebacker Amari Gaynor and wide receiver Ramel Keaton. They kept 7 linebackers on the 53-man roster. Wow, 7. Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, Luke Masterson, Tommy Eichenberger, who's been banged up, Amari Burney, Muggs made it, yeah, and Gaynor. I knew Gaynor was going to make it because Gaynor played his butt off, and he was all over the place and really did a nice job there. So Gaynor can play. Let's see what he's able to do, and we'll see what happens here with Eichenberg in his situation here. The Raiders invested a lot in him and were really high on him, but he was unavailable for most of the time. So that's where we're at this point. If there's anything else you want to add to this and who's made the team or who's not on the team, but that's a lot of linebackers. Yeah. To Sean Reed 10 minutes ago, the Raiders and every other team can add up to 16 players to their practice squad. They can protect up to 4 of those players to prevent other teams from claiming them. But they have to make it past the waiver wire first. So with all the players that the Raiders put on the waiver wire, which are the waiver players that might end up with another team? All of the waived players will hit the waiver wire, which exposes them to other teams potentially claiming them tomorrow. I think the players that could get picked up for experience, Britton Brown at running back for the right price, Matthew Butler, even though it hasn't worked out here with the Raiders, is an interesting player. Wu Governor, I think, is going to maybe potentially end up. I know the Raiders want to keep him. Jadon Grant, the safety, is someone to keep an eye on. Will Putnam, the center, I thought got people's attention. And Charles Snowden, the defensive end, 6'7", is a player that I think other teams are going to take a look at. All right, that's good. I need to take a breath, Bobby. Thanks again to Cliff Atkinson, the president of Virgin Hotels, our proud partner. Great to have him on here. Yeah, someone just said in my chat, which I'm wrapping up on YouTube, we got 360 people in our live stream today. I really appreciate that. We started off with 4. We started off with 2 people. I went to my son, why the hell am I doing this with 2 people watching? Now we're close to 400 every show. Thank you to everybody in the YouTubers who are coming in here. Snowden versus Tyree Wilson. Look, we know why Tyree Wilson made the team, everybody. Tyree Wilson made the team because he's got a tremendous ceiling, and we're nowhere near the first set of stairs to get to the ceiling. So they got to work with him for obvious reasons. What do you think of the roster? 702-365-9200. Thanks to everybody who was on YouTube, and keep listening. We got about another 40 minutes to go on your home of the silver and black. All right. Thanks, everybody. That was a banner day for us. Might have been our best one.
Let me check one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Is this the most recent number for him?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, yeah. If it's not him, I'll find it. Yeah, Ramel Keaton, I liked him. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you.